Cut. Yes, that's BBN's fight song, Kentucky's fight song. And the reason why I played that fight song is because we don't have any fight over there in an NCAA tournament game, and you lose to the team who lost his best player. Now, I don't mind losing. I know NCAA, it's hard to win in March. We let go of Kyle because he couldn't win in March. But to see the effort that we've seen from a team that was playing against a team without its best player was just, unacceptable for Kentucky basketball. The product, as I've mentioned, is not Kentucky basketball. Now, I will say this before I say any more about the negative parts about Kentucky basketball right now and the state of where Kentucky basketball is right now. Mark Pope has had the worst luck with injuries. Not just injuries, but to his point guard. And back-to-back years, you've lost your point guard and your backup point guard. Last year was Butler and Cursor, okay? This year, it was Jalen Lowe and a Caden Lewis. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are forgetting about a Caden Lewis. You lost your backup point guard. And speaking of losing your backup point guard, today was announced that losing a left-hand point guard was one of the excuses on why UK had a bad year and why we weren't successful. Not losing Lowe was a left-hand point guard, but you lost to Caden Lewis, and then Jasper's a left-handed guard. Jasper can dribble. It's called development. We're not asking for Jasper to have been the best backup or two guard in the SEC or the United States, NCAA, the world. But we just needed Jasper to go in there and be solid and run offense. And I think he was capable of doing that. By seeing his ball skills and seeing him be able to dribble and handle the ball, now handling pressure, and something that he didn't do as great at this year, I think he's going to definitely get in the gym and get tougher and get stronger, and his defense will improve. His size will improve, but the kid's skill set was there. He can be a playmaker for himself, and he can be a playmaker for someone else. And they just needed to develop that better. And I just feel like the whole mishandle on Jasper makes me upset as a fan because I feel like that kid might not come back due to the mishandle. I think he loves Kentucky basketball. He's KY till he dies. He's got great family tradition and it's a great family first and foremost, and for them, they don't probably want their kid to stay, to leave. I would say, not speaking for them, but I just feel like that he got dirty. You can say whatever you want to say about any mistakes that he made this year and how he wasn't quote unquote ready or whatever negativity, but he also shows signs of being like brilliant and being nice. And against Tennessee twice, we forgetting against Purdue, which wasn't a real game. It was for the world to see, and they were number one, and he led us in scoring with 18. So he showed potential to be good for us. I just think he was mishandled. However way you want to put it and whatever you want to say about him negativity, I just feel like he got mishandled. All right. Let's talk about literally the sub patterns. What allowed Malachi Marino in that second half to stay in that game as long as he did? Malachi, if you watch from not only just in the SEC tournament, but any minutes in this tournament, he didn't look ready. He didn't look his solid self. Okay? All you need that kid to do is just play good defense, rebound, and don't turn the ball over. That's all we needed him to do, and he was struggling with that. So BG had a good first game. BG saved us. He was part of saving us. Why wasn't BG just already in the play more into you got BG is a confidence guy. BG is a head guy. So if you don't get him going early, if you don't got his confidence going, you get nothing out of BG. And you know that by now by watching him for 2 years. So the sub patterns with him, the sub patterns with Jasper, you also realize that Mobile Diabate was probably playing better ball than Yelovich. He should have been played more. So just the substitution mishandle, I feel like was awkward and bad at a bad timing, but just also not using the size. I feel like Kentucky was bigger than Santa Clara. They was bigger than Iowa State, and they didn't pound the ball inside. Well, why couldn't you pound the ball inside? Because it was too much pressure being put on. But that's another thing. I didn't see no counter for defending the attacks that were put on Kentucky. Kentucky was getting double teamed, getting pushed up on defensively, and we did nothing to counter. No screens, no picks, no nobody coming to the ball. nobody jumping in the air and just finding an open man, nothing being adjusted by Iowa State's defense. And you know that Iowa State's defense is scrappy and they're going to come for you. It's not like they came at us just like Texas A&M did and beat us just like Texas A&M did. So I'm just disappointed in the preparation that the Cats showed, the fight that the Cats showed in a tournament game, do or die, losing to a team that had its best player out. So that's a very big disappointment, a very big low. So speaking of the low, are we bringing back Jalen Lowe as the number one PG? I say no. I say you bring him in and you might start him, but you use a combo guard set if you're going to play Jalen Lowe. Don't depend on that kid again for two reasons. Because he's injury prone and he's small. One. Thirdly, you've seen over 3 years you need depth. So just get more in here with him. I'm not saying that don't use him or don't play him, but just get more support at the point guard position. Again, 2 years in a row, one way or another, you've lost your point guards. So you need to bully up, like you need to muscle up on the point guards, Coach Pope. That's it. Like, first and foremost, fix that. Secondly, the way Iowa State and the way Texas A&M and the way other teams defended us, we need to get players that are scrappy and don't care about nothing but defending people and getting after people. That's how you win college basketball. That's how you get dogs at Kentucky. And then you develop them on offense. If they're skilled, or if they're athletic and they can't shoot, you get in. I mean, dude, counter the talent you have instead of trying to make the talent go around what you do at your system. You can't come into a season choreographing anything if it's not working. If you want to talk about playing with a left-hand point guard, I mean, I get that the way you want a ball reversal and that if that's what it is, but if that's the case, then you develop your left-hand freshman into being a left-hand point guard. I want to hear no excuses. And when the season's over about that, that's like for real. If you're gonna lose with accountability and lose with trying to fix the problem. That ain't fixing the problem telling me that your point guard went down and you was used to playing from the left hand or left point guard. That's baloney, man. That's balagna, bro. Like, we not buying that, bro. Basketball savants are looking at you like you're crazy right now. Like, don't say that. So when that appears and you see a coach going on there with Mr. Leach talking about, the progress that's been made and, what we done with the numbers. Okay, listen, anybody that came in behind Kyle that had tournament success was going to look better than Kyle, so to speak, within tournament success. However, Kyle losing early was something that a bitter taste that a lot of Cat fans and people will just, hold on to as far as losing Cal. But you never saw Cal's teams not have identity. You never seen Cal's team not have heart and play hard. And at the end of the day, I just feel like when you're comparing somebody else's team or other records in the last 4 years to what Kentucky's doing now, that means you're doing more about talking about them than you are about yourself. Take accountability for yourself. Make injuries an excuse, but say you gotta do better, make adjustments. Say you gotta do better at recruiting guys that fit the system. Say you gotta do better at trusting in your bench more. Something. But don't blame it on, but don't say that losing a point guard with the left hand or the fact that you're better because you won 3 more tournament games in the last year. Kyle wasn't winning any. So if you won 2 and then you won 1, first of all, you won a buzzer beater. So let's not hang our hat on that. Always saved you. Okay, BG with the block saved you. Let's not act like you almost just won 2 games in 2 years with the Sweet 16 games last year and none this year. So let's not get too cocky about winning that 3rd game, even though it was a great game. But still, my point of the matter is you got to take accountability for how you losing to fix how you losing. And at the end of the day, I just think they need to go out there and go back and get a Caden Lewis. He's a left-hand point guard. Obviously, that's what they love. Villanova, he had a good season with, but if we just say he can be the man and him and Lowe are going to play 20 to 25 minutes a game, man, that's enough to come to Kentucky and sell them on and give them a little, $250,000, $500,000. Don't give these guys too much money this year. Make them earn this money this year. I wouldn't give a guy over $500K unless it was Tyron Stokes. And then I wouldn't give him over $5 million. That's just me. But go get a Caden Lewis, bring back Jalen Lowe. That's 2 left-hand point guards. And then I will go get like a 4-star guy that ain't been signed yet, or someone, go get a veteran guard at a university that can shoot and play defense. Just go do that anywhere. I don't care. Bellarmine, Come on, find them anywhere. It don't got to be no big school, but just go find a solid point guard to go with a Caden Lewis and Jalen Lowe. All right, two guard. Colin Chandler cannot be your starting guard. Like, let's just go ahead and get that out the way. I love him. He gave us what he gave us, but he's more suited in any level of coming off the bench and then playing well late if he's playing well because he's a clutch shooter. Other than that, I would go get somebody great out of the transfer portal, bring Colin back, and get somebody else in the transfer portal. Tyron Stokes is your 3, easy. Cam Williams can play the 2 as well. He's 6'8", but he can play the 2 as well if you bring back Cam. The 3 goes to Stokes and Hawthorne. All right, Hawthorne can play a little 4. I'm assuming Yelovich is coming back, and I don't know anything else from her. Probably Malachi. Notice I didn't name Jasper, but Caden and Jasper and Lowe will be a great combo. I would love to see that. But again, he has to get 3 players at each position, hands down. You got to get 3 players at each position. Space that out, and then cut your rotation to 8 or 9 when it comes down to the end. That's really what he has to do. Play ball seat all defense, like attack people and start trapping people, start going zone, like start squeezing to where the paint is not available and guards just don't do what they want to do. There's no way that Lipsy kid from Iowa State should have been able to run around and do whatever he did. The Tanner kid from Vanderbilt ran around and did whatever they did. Double team these little guards, man. Make other players beat you when you got really good guards and your guards can't keep up with them or they can't keep them out of the paint. Just double up. Just double up and allow the player on the team that is not the best shooter to shoot. The player on the team that's not the best playmaker to make plays. If they beat you that way, they beat you that way. But don't let the best player beat you. And I feel like Kentucky allowed that to happen. They also allowed the worst players to play well against them too. So there was no standard on defense for us. He has to fix that first. He has to get depth. And then last but not least, he needs to go get that freshman big dog, Tyron Stokes, like everybody else did to keep their program exciting, afloat, and making recruits want to make Kentucky again. So at the end of the day, Mark Pope will be back for one more year. Whether that seat is hot or scorching, we don't know. The new AD is going to dictate a lot of that. They need to hire a new AD ASAP. I hate that Dwayne Peavy's out of the running. Go get Martin Newton. Please go get Martin Newton. Now that Dwayne Peavy is out, I love both of them as candidates. But the new AD, last but not least, needs to come in and they need to cut Mitch Barnhart's $950 and get him on out of there. Your time is up, Mitch. Get the hell on up out of there, dog, and let some new blood come in there and run this shit. We done with you, Mitch. Like, seriously, bro. BBN's done with you, Mitch. Get up on up out of there, bro. We appreciate you. Will Steinhardt was we like it. But get on up out of there, dog. We don't need you no more, bro. All right? BBN, we'll be back. Until then, I'll holla. Be right.